Welcome to the Global Watch Network. This is where we break down the world's most critical conflicts and flashpoints, giving you the context you need.
All right, today we're looking at a standoff that is so tense it could honestly erupt at any second. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. You can think of it as this high-stakes chess match for control of the world's oil supply, with the United States and Iran as the two main players.
And look, to really get a handle on this, just listen to this assessment, because it frames the entire crisis perfectly. A dangerous confrontation is brewing at sea. The U.S. plans to seize Iranian ships, and Tehran is ready to strike back. The Gulf may be on the brink of open conflict. This isn't some far-off threat we're talking about. This is happening right now.
Okay, so what's the immediate spark here? What's really kicking all this off? Well, it all boils down to a planned U.S. move, one that targets this incredibly complex web of covert shipping that Iran has been running for years.
So what we're hearing is that Washington is getting ready to, well, interfere with and maybe even seize Iranian commercial ships. Officially, the reason is all about enforcing that maximum pressure campaign of economic sanctions. The goal? Pretty simple. Cut off Iran's oil money.
But you've got to ask, why now? Why is this all escalating? Well, the U.S. is saying that Iran has just gotten so good at dodging these sanctions, mainly by using something they call a shadow fleet.
Now look, we're not talking about simple smuggling here. This is a massive, highly coordinated operation. They're doing ship-to-ship transfers way out in open water, usually in the middle of the night. They're messing with their AIS location transponders, that system that tracks all the ships at sea, so they can either vanish completely or even pretend to be another vessel. On top of that, you've got forged documents, layers upon layers of shell companies. It's this whole shadow network that the U.S. is now trying to take down.
Okay, to really grasp just how huge the stakes are, we need to talk about where this is all happening. And believe me, this isn't just some random spot in the ocean. This is going down in what is, without a doubt, the most critical maritime choke point on the entire planet.
This right here, this is the Strait of Hormuz. And get this, at its narrowest point, it's just 21 miles wide. It's the only way for ships to get from the oil-rich Persian Gulf out into the open ocean. There's just no other way around it. It's a bottleneck.
So how critical is this tiny stretch of water? Well, think about this. A full quarter, 25% of all the oil that's traded by sea passes right through here. That adds up to about 21 million barrels of oil every single day. And if you put a dollar value on that, we're talking over 1.2 times billion dollars worth of oil moving through the strait every 24 hours. So yeah, any disruption here, even a small one, sends a massive shockwave through the entire global economy.
So with stakes that high, you can bet both sides have a game plan. They've got these well-developed playbooks for how they'd handle a conflict here, but their strategies couldn't be more different, and that really comes down to their huge differences in military power and what they're trying to achieve.
On one hand, the U.S. playbook is all about law and economics. They want to use international agreements to justify seizing ships and basically choke off Iran's money. But Iran's playbook? It's something else entirely. It's all about being asymmetric. It's not designed to win a straight-up fight. They know they can't. Instead, the goal is to make the cost of that fight so painful, so unbearably high, that the U.S. just decides it's not worth it and backs down.
So for the U.S., their whole legal case would be built on international agreements, especially something called UNCLOS, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. This is what gives countries the legal framework to go after ships on the high seas that are involved in illegal stuff, like, for example, breaking international sanctions.
Now, Iran's approach is actually fascinating. They are fully aware they can't go head-to-head with the U.S. aircraft carrier group and win, so they don't even try. What they do instead is what you'd call guerrilla warfare at sea. They use swarms of small, super-fast attack boats, naval mines, and missiles fired from the coast to just create absolute chaos. The idea is to turn the strait into a dangerous, unpredictable minefield.
And believe me, this isn't just a theory on a whiteboard. Iran has a long, proven history of using ship seizures as a direct, tit-for-tat response. It's like clockwork. When one of their tankers gets seized or their money gets frozen, they almost always retaliate by grabbing a ship linked to the other country. It's a very clear, very practiced part of their playbook.
Which, of course, brings us to the global impact. I mean, what would actually happen if this back-and-forth spirals out of control and the Strait of Hormuz is shut down? Well, the economic fallout would be immediate, and it would be severe, no question.
The very first thing you'd see is the price of oil going through the roof. I mean, analysts are estimating that prices could easily double, maybe even surge past $150 a barrel. An event like that would trigger a global energy crisis and almost certainly push a lot of economies straight into recession.
But that raises a really logical question, right? Wouldn't a blockade basically be economic suicide for Iran? I mean, why would they shut down the very waterway that is their own economic lifeline? It's a great question, and the answer, well, it's complicated.
Look, a blockade would be unbelievably self-destructive for them. As you can see right here, more than half of Iran's entire export revenue flows right through this strait. So that makes a full blockade this incredibly powerful threat. But it's also a weapon of last resort. It's the break glass in case of emergency option, because it would absolutely cripple their own economy.
And the pain wouldn't stop with just high oil prices, not by a long shot. The cost of just doing business anywhere near that region would explode. We're talking war risk insurance premiums for shipping jumping by maybe 500%. The daily cost to rent a supertanker, it would skyrocket. And think about the big Asian economies, China, India, Japan, South Korea. They are so dependent on that route, they'd face brutal energy shortages. And then you have countries right there in the Gulf, like Qatar, that have no backup pipelines. They would be completely, utterly cut off.
And all of this brings us right back to where we are today. Both sides are squared up, ready for confrontation, and they are both fully aware of the catastrophic chain reaction that could be set off if things escalate.
Iran, for its part, could not be sending a clearer message. They've stated publicly that their naval forces, from the IRGC Navy all the way to their coastal missile bases, are on high alert. And they've put the entire region on notice, warning other countries that helping the U.S. will have serious consequences.
And so that leaves us with one final, pretty unsettling question. When you have a space this tense, this confined, crammed with warships from opposing nations, all of them on high alert, well, the line between a tense standoff and an actual shooting war becomes dangerously razor thin. All it takes is one mistake, one single misinterpretation, and you could have the spark that ignites a conflict with consequences that would be felt all over the world. Thank you so much for your time. If you found this explainer valuable, please do us a favor and like, share, and subscribe to the Global Warwatch Network. We'd love to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And hey, come join our community on social media. You can find all the links for that in the description.